Welcome to Real Flix Reviews, or like a book club for people hate reading. This month we're doing Robin Williams comedies, so I picked the cartoon Robots, made in 2005. We talk about Firefly episode 10. We bring you movie news. And this week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, Ryan Preston.
And the old guy is here.
So the movie Robots, according to IMDb, is about... In a robot world, a young idealistic inventor travels to the big city to join his inspirations company, only to find himself opposing its sinister new management. Which the new management vaguely reminded me of Steve Jobs.
So, what is this movie about according to you?
It pretty much sums up the whole thing in
Okay,
the
because
IMDb
you
movie.
just said according to IMDb, like...
Well,
You know, I gotta say, Mel Brooks is an inspiration to me as well.
Totally.
And this movie actually has a pretty amazing cast. I mean, it has Ian
It really
McGregor,
does.
Halle Berry, Mel Brooks, Robin Williams, Paula Abdul, Terry Bradshaw. They're just Bradshaw, Drew Carey, just to name off a couple. So I was actually when I first saw this originally, I was quite surprised by the number of celebrities who were actually in the movie.
It was one of those movies that came out at that time that just had a all-star cast, and it was just, expected to do really well, and it actually did. It didn't do as well as some of the other Pixar's, like Monsters, Inc. and
Well, this isn't
and
a Pixar,
Toy Story. I know, but I'm just saying it's kind of those animated adventure things where you have a bunch of stars that jump on board, and you expect to do really well. But yeah, I'm saying that in comparison to those, they didn't do as well, and it was kind of got swept under the rug after a couple years.
Oh yeah,
You really didn't hear anything about it.
And I picked this particular Robin Williams movie on purpose because most of the ones we've previously seen, he always seemed to be the main character. Or in Good Will Hunting's case, he didn't mean to be the main character, but in my opinion, he was. He was so strong.
My wife watched this with us, or with me, and she just kind of like stops and goes, "Where's Robin Williams?"
Yeah.
This is about, 15, 20 minutes before he appears?
If you know his voice,
he's a very, very
if you know his voice,
character.
you'll pick him out real quick.
Yeah.
If you don't really know his voice that well, he blends in the background, and he's by far not the main character.
No, not in this
No.
movie. Pay attention.
Oh.
I was talking about Good Will Hunting.
Oh,
I think Good Will Hunting,
all right.
his role took over the movie. Where in this one, he's more a sideline character. Well, he's important to the story, not as important as his other characters have been.
I would say in Good Will Hunting, he only bumped Benny Affleck because, he didn't really have that much, but he wasn't
Ben
the
Affleck was never top billed like that. He was always supposed to be, co-star.
background.
Okay,
Background
I'll give you
noise.
that. I thought it was interesting how they showed the robots growing up. I actually thought that part was fairly
Yeah, the
ingenious.
hand-me-down parts.
Yeah,
Right.
I got my big boy parts. I
Yeah.
love the pink.
And these are
upper
from
Every
your cousin Shenandra or whatever the hell.
button. Yeah. And the Big Will show also very, very reminded me of The Wonderful World of Disney. On
yeah.
kind of the opening.
I
the
could see
feel
that.
To it.
Well, I'm going to give the animation a lot of credit. I mean, the animation
too.
was very good. It was neat. All the robots looked like they were parts. They're nuts and bolts, and on the one main bad guy had a bunch of little clock parts in his.
Yeah.
Those were actually moving. All those little parts were actually moving and everything. So, graphically, the graphics were really good.
And the detail, I was going to say, the detail's amazing because you could actually tell rust marks,
Yes.
dings.
Yeah, they did a great job on that. Roger Ebert made an interesting comment, though, that I wanted to share now that I can't find it. But basically, he says now it seems like in this age that big corporations have taken the place of the Nazis as being an automatic bad guy.
Yeah,
and I
pretty
thought
much.
that was quite interesting statement.
Because, the 99%.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing happened to Lex Luthor in the comic books back in the day. He was originally a mad scientist and turned into a big business owner. So not really
real estate
surprised.
mogul.
Yeah. So
So
it's interesting. I think that was a great observation.
Oh, you missed also Leno and Al Roker.
Right. Which, to be honest with you, I didn't notice them.
I didn't either. I
So-
really got to say...
There was a lot of characters in this thing that I didn't notice, and I wouldn't have noticed unless I was concurrently looking it up at the time.
Right.
or you just know that you should be looking for it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, but I mean, aside from memorizing the cast list before I watch the movie, I'm just sitting there like, do I recognize that voice, or am I making it up in my head and look it up and it's like Greg Kinnear?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
how the hell am I supposed to recognize Greg Kinnear?
Oh yeah, exactly.
The casting seemed to almost be a little gimmicky. Like, we're just gonna overcast this movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and
draw it just based on
Entirely.
names.
I mean, you know,
and Paul
Terry
Giamatti was
Bradshaw, Paula
Yeah.
Abdul.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti.
Come on.
James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
no, it-
James Earl Jones for 3 seconds, but you can throw him in the credits, you know what
Yeah.
I mean, and throw it up in the movie trailer, and then bank on the graphics kind of getting to a point where you can do so many things at once on a screen. I mean, this is 2005, sort of right when, you know, you're past the Toy Story stage where everything sort of looks beautiful, and now you can kind of get to those details and the 100 million things going on at once. And make everything shiny. The lighting got really terrific in the 3D animation.
Right.
So everything got that much more realistic in terms of the movement and things. But aside from that, I mean, the story was kind of thin. I mean, obviously, I'm an adult and I'm watching sort of a family movie, but
no,
these movies, to me, I don't know about you guys, aren't these supposed to sort of play on two levels? Like, it's fun for the adults as well as the kids.
That's the idea.
well, see,
Yep.
I see, because I saw this when it came out in 05, and even then I didn't think it was like Shrek, where Shrek was full of very, very adult
Yeah, it didn't.
adult
Yeah, which
pointed
is-
humor. But this one, I thought this one was definitely geared towards kids, but because I think the way it is, adults can enjoy it, but not having the two layers like you said.
You know, I think what I would point out is Mel Brooks is in this movie, but Mel Brooks didn't write this movie, so it's not.
It's clean.
It's not gonna be the vaudeville jokes where it's kind of something where the kids find it amusing, but the adults are like, "Whoa, that's awesome." You know, that's kind of what you mostly want with a kids movie when you're taking your kids to see it. You want to have something that you can come
Yeah.
away with, like, that was entertaining.
Yeah.
But this one's just a straight out feel good movie.
And it has a lot of gimmicks in it. Gimmicks far as like the universe, you know, how the cars move, the transportation.
They even take a
All the-
selfie. I'm looking at the slides from some of the different animations.
Scenes,
They're taking a selfie.
Yeah,
Way back in
05.
2005, that was already a big thing.
Yeah.
I would
I
say
mean,
it's
it's
a
like-
big thing, but it's a known thing.
It's in this cartoon.
What did you say, Ryan?
I said people did it. They just had the disposable cameras. or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it may be, instead of your phone being able to turn backwards so you can see it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a big deal, really.
But it was interesting though. Like on one level, you know, the story is kind of about these robots that you don't make parts and they're out modes. So it was an interesting tale of, you know, the new versus old.
Right.
You know, it was kind of a story of people who are just aged out, and I thought it was interesting. On some level, you can dig a little deeper, probably more than is necessary for a cartoon. But
I think, you know, one of the things that our audience, I suggest that you do is go to IMDb and look this film up and take a look at some of the graphics, some of the actual stills from the movie, and
They're amazing.
They're incredible. The detail in these artwork, because that's what they are. These are all artwork. It's unbelievable.
And I started thinking to myself at a certain point watching it. It's like, especially with the transportation scene, and then the dominoes. The transportation, though, it's like watching like an incredibly constructed Rube Goldberg.
yes, that's
Exactly.
exactly.
It's somehow almost maybe more impressive because somebody just did this shit on a computer.
Right.
And then I don't know what it was about the dominoes, but I was just as impressed as if somebody actually put all those up.
Oh, I love the
yeah.
domino scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That is probably one of my all-time favorite scenes.
You know what's funny? The whole movie with the robots and the things and the sentient beings and the way everything works and the shenanigans of the transportation, my suspension of disbelief completely dissolved with the wave of dominoes.
And
It's where I draw the line. That's all I'm saying.
an interesting thing is that Robin Williams hadn't done an animated voice for almost 10 years before he
the
stepped
Aladdin
out of
movies,
and
he
did
did
this.
a couple of sequels, didn't he? And that was it.
no, I
No.
don't think he was in any of the sequels.
What it says is Robin Williams' first animated voice since Aladdin and the King of Thieves, 1996. So he did do the sequels, but he just kind of didn't do it after that, which is, I would love to watch him in studio. I've seen a few things where, you know, when Aladdin came out, there were some little documentary things where you got to see him kind of playing around, but just to see him just go off the hook.
On this movie, I was thinking about that. I think he was awfully tame.
Yes, exceptionally
Okay,
tame.
for Robin Williams, he was very tame in this movie.
I think part of it though was also is because in this part, I'm surprised because it was a really really kids movie, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was being a little more blue.
Yeah, I would say
in the theater.
Robin has a great. He's one of the most genius person when it comes to saying something adult but flying it right over a 10-year-old.
Right.
Well, see, that's
Right.
why I'm
That's
saying.
true.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm saying, like, on this movie. I mean, Aladdin. None of that. It wasn't a whole lot of blue. But on this one, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of had to tone back some of the stuff because he was flying out stuff, and they're saying this doesn't match the tone of the movie because this is a this is a kids movie. I mean, I
it's a
like
serious kids movie.
I
Though.
actually really like cartoons, so I always enjoy when I watch it. But there's not a lot of stuff like, oh, that's funny, that's an adult humor, that's that's a Pennish joke, or that's that. Like you get on
A Pennish joke.
on some of the other cartoons.
the detail is just.
Did he just Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
Saturday Night Live.
Yes. I just the animation on this has always been one of the amazing. I love the characters too because there's so many unique individual characters, like Madam Bigwell.
But the only character that was fleshed out worth a damn was Copperbottom. That was it. I didn't know shit about anybody else.
Well, there was some Bigwell.
Nobody beyond one dimension other than him,
Well,
and that might have been two.
Yeah, Bigwell a little bit. You had a little glimpse into everybody's personality, but not enough to get a depth of them. Like they gave bits and pieces of every.
Not really. They just showed you the type of character that they were, and they were just that character.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't. They did. I mean, not like past wise, but if you like the way they
I'm
talked,
not
I
saying
think they gave a
go
little.
back. I mean, but it was just I'm the quirky one. I'm the serious one. I'm the one that looks like a Ninja Turtle.
Which one was that?
The one that dressed up like a Ninja Turtle at the end.
Okay.
I know what he's talking about.
The one that was Harlan Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The green one. The boxer one.
Sure.
Yeah, it looked like a rock'em sock'em robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. Uh-huh.
What's funny too is that with Drew Carey being the voice of one of the characters, he's also very, very good at doing voiceover work,
is.
and he is highly talented as well. Never discount Drew Carey. I mean, he is pretty funny.
He is a very funny man.
Yeah,
and I am still impressed that he took over Bob Barker's spot.
Amazing,
Anyway,
huh?
let's not get off
It's all
topic
money.
here.
So
It's all money. He took
was
the
there,
money.
So was there any any of the characters you liked the most?
I think Mel Brooks' character was the funnest of them all.
Right, he was the big guy.
And I think he got...
Big weld.
He
Yeah.
played a lot more with his role than I think Robin Williams did, to be honest. Especially when he gets shut down and they're kind of going down, Daisy, Daisy.
Well, I think that's because his character was more. I think his character was more fleshed out, at least in the eyes of Copperbottom. Like, because he looked over it and he was so kind of bigger than life. I think that's why he was able to do it. With Robin Williams,
No,
his character
because
was just
Robin
quirky.
Williams' character seemed eccentric to me and goofy, and he could have taken that so far.
Oh, totally.
And I don't think he did. I agree with your dad.
And he looks like a coffee grinder.
He was basically held back.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was somebody who reined him in, and it wasn't cool. It wasn't good.
I agree. Anyways.
Now, I must admit, as far as the character goes, Ratchet was pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you look at his nice pinstripe suit, nice red power tie.
Yeah, for
I-
world
True
domination,
villain.
he was a good guy.
I still want to know
True
why.
villain.
I still want to know why
Villain.
robots have to eat and drink. I mean, that was the one thing they had.
Have you never watched Futurama?
Yes, I have. I still want to know that too. I mean, why were they? There was the scene with drinking martinis. I mean,
It was an oil martini. But see, I mean, that's sort of what this movie was.
It's like
It was sort of
Data
one
and-
kind of like mechanical joke after another. The one thing I kind of did really appreciate though was everything was analog.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like the one robot popping tapes for voices.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
just
Cassettes.
everything had a crank to it or a gear or something.
I kinda
it was
always
kinda
thought
neat.
That guy reminded me of the sound guy from Transformers. I can't think of his name. What was his name?
Oh, yeah, I know.
John.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't. Soundwave.
Was it Soundwave?
Soundwave, yeah.
Soundwave. Yeah. Almost positive. Yeah, no, I agree. I also like how a lot of the buildings had kind of an Art Deco feel to it, especially the more higher end places. like Big Weld's company had a lot of Art Deco, that era
right.
style.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of 1950s-ish feel.
Yeah. Actually, that's a better, not, yeah.
That's a good point.
Art
And,
Deco 50-ish.
and I can't remember.
Had that sort of 1920s kind of future look, like
Yeah,
people
yes.
in the 1920s imagining the future.
Yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yes,
It
that's a
was
better way to put it.
the home of the future, the robots of the future
Right?
type
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, yeah, totally.
That's some shit you'd see at the World's Fair.
That's
Yes.
And it was
exactly.
It was interesting. I
Selfie.
was trying to think on this movie far as what really drove the story, because Ryan's right. I mean, it's really thin. It's basically cut and paste. I mean, it's a basic story that's done over and over and over again. And I'm almost thinking it's the little gags, and it's like the characters themselves are being the gags. Like, what can you make this character whose head pops off, whose arms break? It almost seems like it's a sight gag that drives the movie. Like the story progresses for more gags.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. That's it. I'll tell you one thing. For me personally, I love some of these stills. I would get a
the stills are
poster.
really nice.
I'd get a poster of some of these. They're so good.
One of the things I want to pop out is that they're in trivia on IMDb. Somebody actually says the original concept for the film was a 1930s style screwball comedy with musical numbers. So it seems to me like they originally wanted to do steampunk, and I'm actually glad they didn't.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm saying I can't imagine that being any better.
You know?
No, that wouldn't have been.
I think if it was steampunk, I think it would have been worse.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
It would have had a whole different feel.
Kind of
Yeah.
term. I don't think they knew what steampunk
Yeah.
was, but yeah.
But you know what I mean, though. That's the
had-
style they would have gone with.
I think they had the basic of the idea. I think the problem if they went with steampunk, it would have been a much darker movie. This movie is really light. This is a movie you can throw on and get a good couple laughs. The kids will never have an issue
This is a
watching this
movie
like some
for your
cartoons.
kids.
Yeah.
This is not
But
a
it's
movie
not,
for
though.
the adults.
I think even for a 10-year-old, this movie's kind of wildly forgettable.
Maybe so.
I mean, I don't think there was any kids running around with copper bottom on their lunch pails. You know what I mean? I mean, at the same time, you got shit like Toy Story, or what was out 05? The Shrek movies were probably in there.
Well, no, this movie definitely got ran over. I mean, if you ask people about it, you'd probably get 1 out of 10 people that even know what it is. I'm probably the odd man out because I'm still a giant fan of animation and cartoons in general.
Oh,
So
no, me too, man. I love watching all this stuff, and not even just like for nostalgia purposes. Because we were talking about, a lot of this stuff is kind of this, it's made beyond kids,
Yeah.
not necessarily beyond their comprehension, just not assuming that they're stupid small people, that they can actually understand some lofty, heady ideas every now and again.
Yeah. And, for me, I always thought this was, it was kind of for lack of a better word, it's a cute movie, and I've always find it entertaining. For me, I've also more of a big fan of simple storytelling, and this is this is Old Yeller basic. I'll give this a 3 out of 5. I mean, I actually like the movie, and it's not one I could watch constantly. But it's for me, it's fun. What about you, Ryan?
Over the years, as movies sort of progress, new technologies will come in. There's always bound to be sort of like a calling card movie, like, hey, look what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was that for animation, and everything else, I think, like you said, was just kind of cut and pasted together, and they underused their best asset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
This is a 2 out of 5.
Wow. I would say they underestimated probably all the casts. I mean, Drew Carey, even Mel Brooks.
Overcast it, and they hoped that would draw in the parents to bring their kids, and then there's really nothing for either one of them to walk out of there and be like, I had a great time.
Because this is DreamWorks, right?
I believe so.
Because I would not.
The 20th century.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of the answer to Pixar.
I think it
I
was.
think it tried to be, and it looked amazing. Don't get me wrong. I agree with Rob. The stills, probably look incredible. I'm sure the artists are really proud of themselves. But that's kind of all it was, hey, look what we can do with the special effects and things.
So what about you, James?
I would say, this is kind of an off the beaten path one of Robin Williams comedy. It's not one that stands out and jumps out. I kind of go with Ryan on the fact that they underutilized, Robin Williams. They had somebody who could take in this movie to a completely new level, and they didn't do it. So, but I don't think it deserves a 2. I would have to say it's just a mediocre film, and I would say it's a 3. It's not standoffish. It's not a shining star, but I wouldn't say it's crap either.
Well, that's kind of why I picked it. I mean, it's definitely an off the beaten path movie.
It's kind of
You were-
middle
you
of
were
the
spot
ground.
on. It's what?
It's kind of middle of the ground, type of thing. It's not, and I think I liked it because you didn't just jump out and pick a known winner of Robin Williams comedy.
Rob?
Well, so I'm not a big animation or anime or cartoon fan per se at this stage in my life. And if I was to compare it to something that I can really bring to the forefront, like Shrek, you compare it to that, and it just disappears.
Yeah.
Doesn't stand.
I've seen movies do less or more with less. That's all.
Yeah, like I said, it just kind of got swept under the rug, and that's
Oh.
because it wasn't standoff.
Yeah,
Oh, no, it-
yeah,
it-
absolutely.
It definitely was not, a headliner in its day. It will never be. I doubt it'll ever be a cult classic.
So, with that said, I know exactly where Ryan's coming with the 2. I have a hard time. This is where we need the points again.
Yeah.
We need to work on that. And we'll
Come
look
on,
for the
guys.
First of the year.
Yeah, hurry up.
We put it in your park.
Gosh, with holding back both guys like Robin Williams and Drew
Drew
Carey
Carey
and
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks, Jay Leno played the fire hydrant in there. I didn't even know that until I looked at this. So going with that, I'm going to give it a 2 as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh wow.
So we're gonna switch gears here and talk about Firefly, and I'm gonna hand that over to James.
Well, so this one is called Heart of Gold. It's the number 11 on the series. This one was an interesting one. It's where they go and defend a whorehouse.
My favorite episode.
And I gotta say, this one is one where I truly feel like it's trying
Wait,
to take a
wasn't-
page out of those
Wait a
westerns.
minute.
Weren't we supposed to do war stories?
Yeah, we're on the wrong. It was number 10 that we were supposed to watch, and
You are right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
war stories.
Yes, sorry, I got confused.
Tune in next
Okay.
week, folks. We talk about
Yeah, sorry, we'll talk about Heart of Gold next week, where they defend a whorehouse.
We need like
now
a
that we
big
know,
reveal.
we gave away the plot for next week.
That's called a teaser.
Let's bring it back.
This one,
Doo-doo-doo,
yes,
doo-doo-doo.
this is the one I watched. I was over at a friend's house for Thanksgiving, and they have Firefly playing. So
Good for
they
them.
went up a couple episodes.
Good for them. So
I got
this was
confused.
Objects in Space.
No,
No, War Stories.
War Stories. War Stories.
So this one,
That War Stories is 9.
no, War Stories is 10. You're looking at IMDb. IMDb is wrong.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, we've said this before. We're actually going by Netflix, which has
okay.
actually, and if I remember correctly, in the official
order.
All right. So-
In the official order put out by Josh Whedon, not what was put out by Fox.
Yeah, and
Because
IMDb goes
Fox,
to Fox.
shut up. I hate you. This
Okay,
one,
War Stories.
War
That's 10.
Stories. I like this one because this is one where Mal and Wash get to kind of bond, and they get to kind of bond.
And stories.
Well, let
being
Wash
tortured.
have more than two lines, too.
Yeah, and I like that.
Yeah, that was
you
good.
really get to know Wash, and I like the thing of what is it, Sung Zhao or whatever,
Sun Tzu.
the writings of Sun Tzu. Yeah,
Sun Tzu, yeah.
and it's
Art
you
of
get
War.
to know a man by torturing him. Pretty much, you get to really know the man.
Which the reason I like this episode, period, because it's more building on Mel's character, and then towards the end, you see, Mel stab the one dude with a torture device and say, "Are you ready to meet the real me?" And then it
Yeah.
cut away. Watching that's like, no, that's the best part right there.
Yeah,
That was good.
yeah. So this one was I wouldn't say it's a fun episode, but it's a more serious episode.
I actually thought it was fun. I actually kind of enjoyed it. I
You know
loved
what
the
I thought was
conversation when they were
interesting
being
is
shocked.
when they're deciding to try to who's going to go in and
Yeah.
get them out. You start basically, with Zoe or Zoe, and who was the other one that wanted to go with her? Because it wasn't Jane. Jane didn't come on until almost the very end.
No.
All right, I'm going to go. So.
He gave them all apples.
It was
He
a
did bit.
doctor, I think. But anyway, they all got together.
No, it was the shepherd. Shepherd really
Yeah.
wanted
Shepherd,
to go.
right?
Sorry.
So
Got a
anyway, they
little
did good.
distracted.
But it was interesting to see the interplay amongst the characters as who's going to go in and rescue the captain. Now.
And the thing in here is you also want to know, where did the shepherd learn how to handle a weapon?
Well, he isn't what he
they
appears to
kind of
be.
hinted at that in the past, but
You only get to see it in this episode.
Right, you kind of get to see sort of what he can do, but you're always kind of wondering, like, there's something a little fishy going on here.
And with that, we're gonna wait to talk about the whole Firefly when we do the Firefly episode. Just a tad bit of
Just a
tease.
wee bit.
And just to let you know, we do have a Facebook page. Choose a theme you'd like us to do, a TV show, movie, or genre. Let us know. Or you could donate,
Give us
donate
a
for
check
the cause.
with a 1 and like 10 zeros.
Right? You could donate for the cause,
I'd do
which
a
is
whole lot more if you
which
guys
is-
sent me that kind of money.
donate to the cause, which is Real Flix Reviews, and Old Guy Tech TV, please. Pay for the cause. And I got a couple of news here, and
Can I
some
say
of them are-
something? Can I
No.
say something?
Sure.
You were talking about news?
I actually have
All
more
right.
news.
I got a news story that since this is Robin Williams month still, we've got to keep in mind when we go to Movie Pick that Night at the Museum, Secrets of the Tomb comes out December 19, and Robin Williams is in this movie. So I'm just excited. I'm excited to see this movie. I've really enjoyed his antics.
I wasn't big at the Night of the Museums, but they were more kind of pre-teen kid movies.
Yeah, they're definitely.
Yeah.
But they're not bad. I mean, Jumanji was the same thing, It's a good movie.
I just think it'd be fun, and this is his last movie.
Something to
I
consider.
think he has more.
No, he's got like 2 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for this year.
Yeah.
We'll schedule a candlelight vigil at one of the screenings.
There you go.
Right? And so the most interesting comeback in film into a movie he was actually in is a reboot of the great 80s classic Kickboxer. Jean-Claude Van Damme is not going to play the main character like he did originally. He's going to be
coach.
playing the Master.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that.
Yep, the actor's in final negotiations to join the cast of the the movie Kickboxer, a franchise remake featuring Guardians of the Galaxy star and, oh my God, Dave Bautista, Days of Future Past actor Alan Mosai and
Dave
John Stockwell.
Bautista is going to be the new kickboxer?
I doesn't say. I'm
I
assuming
don't think
he
you can do
is.
the splits. Does that mean Robin Williams gets to split him?
Robin Williams, you mean Jean-Claude?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude.
What'd
He
you
can
say,
do-
Ryan?
He can still do the splits.
Said Dave Bautista's probably going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, that would be my
That
guess.
would- yeah, I
He
would-
plays a better...
Are they going to do the glass and the...
Because
Dave fucking better do the glass. That was the greatest thing about that. I think that was Kickboxer 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Dave Bautista plays a better heel than he does anything else. And the most interesting one is... What's that?
I said I loved him in Guardians, though, man.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally. The most interesting one is Independence Day 2 gets officially green-lighted, and it will be without
Will
the
Smith.
title character of the movie, which is Will Smith. Allegedly, Goldblum is in it, but it won't be Will Smith.
Okay.
Well, I wonder how
I'm
much.
not surprised.
Well, I'm not surprised either because what's the span going to be? 100 years, 150 years? I mean,
It'll probably be in real life. It's been what? Was it 95 when it came out? They could be 20,
96.
30 years later.
so they're going to fight another war again within 10 years?
Well, allegedly they wanted to come out a sequel with a couple of years later. I guess this has been in production hell the last couple.
But
dozen
is
years.
Bill Pullman going to be in it too?
That originally I
I'm
heard
sure
he
he's not
is.
the president anymore.
I would assume not.
Why not?
Unless he decided to go for a 5th and 6th term.
Well,
More
if
like
you
8 or
institute,
9.
like martial law, can't you just sort of indefinitely stay there as long as that's going on?
I don't know.
Allegedly, originally.
I'm not going to
Not
go there
that I
because
know
it's
of.
totally against the Constitution. But
Exactly.
hey, the
Wait,
government
hey,
doesn't care about
hey,
the
hey,
Constitution
hey, hey,
anyway. Take a look at it. Look at your Bill of Rights. Okay, all right.
So,
taxes were supposed to be only in time of war.
there's not a whole lot of information I found. Originally, Pullman was supposed to be in there as the former president. He was the guy who dealt with
Are
him
they
originally.
just going to stand over his grave and wave?
Who knows? And the next wave, an actor I personally wish would just go away is Jim Carrey is close to playing a comic book villain and a Superman movie. Can you guess which the supervillain he is supposed to play?
Mixaplex?
Actually, that would be good. No, Brainiac.
Brilliant.
Who?
Brainiac.
Who?
Brainiac.
No.
Is this right
Who's
after his
playing
release of
Brainiac?
Dumber Dumber?
Like
No,
that.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey is going to play Brainiac?
According to this,
That's bullshit.
it sounds like it's rumor, but it says he's close to really playing the comic book villain. According to this, Brainiac.
Mixoplex would be a
Yeah,
better idea.
I think
Oh,
unless
boy.
they're doing a Heath Ledger twist on us and just doing him like a psychopath.
I'll be honest, I don't like Jim Carrey. He's one of the few actors
You
that
gotta
if he
leave him alone, dude. He did great in his comedies, and some of his dramas were way
good.
amazing.
I just don't really like him. There's been movies he's done I've
You're
liked, but there
racist.
were two. What?
Yeah.
Non sequitur there.
The Ace Ventura movies were kind of funny, you know.
Even at the time, I
The
disliked
first one, I give you the first one.
No, come on.
No,
The
I'm
second
sorry.
one-
Some props. Yeah,
So,
you get
so,
funny
so
stuff.
since you got the peanut gallery, what do you think, Ryan?
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
About which one?
How does a person have that kind of disdain for Ace Ventura?
I
Most
didn't.
of his movies were good. I'll give you The Cable Guy was not a terrific movie.
No.
Dude,
But you
No, I
gotta look
agree.
who you're talking about. I don't
Not
like
a
modern.
fan.
See,
I don't
he was knocking me. I like
I
Ace
don't
Ventura.
like modern comedies. That's really what it is.
You can't have an opinion about it.
No, I generally dislike modern comedies, and to
But
me, it's.
did you like
Also,
The Mask?
Also,
Not
Ryan's
really.
I
What?
like The Mask.
It was
I thought The Mask
entertaining,
was good.
but it was entertaining, but it's
Yeah.
not a movie I really want to rewatch.
Really?
You're a curmudgeon.
Yes.
Yeah. Now
But on the other hand, if
it's
it was
okay for you to like certain stuff, but other stuff you're just going to.
But on the other hand, if it was closer to the comic book where you took off the mask, it ripped off your face, I would have watched it. The original comic book was a little darker than the actual
Yeah,
movie.
but
I just don't like. I'll be honest. I'm just not a big fan of comedies. Never really
we
have
can tell.
been. You guys have known this. We've done 126 episodes, including this one. You should have known by now.
so
So
you're
take
just
all comedy recommendations from John with a grain of salt.
Yes, and if
just
I
don't do
actually,
'em.
and if I like it and I say it, you watch it because I'm not a big fan of comedies.
Can't really trust your opinion though, having.
Well, look at this. Look,
I mean, the last Starfighter was a comedy, right?
This was
That was
supposed to
That was
be
a
bad.
joke.
It was just bad.
Look what John picked for a Robin Williams comedy, Robots. Give me a break.
That's a
He doesn't
good-
know anything about comedy.
Point taken.
All right, that ends this whole discussion.
Well,
There you go.
we're gonna end the show today, so never mind anybody else's pick, bastards. So who's next in the line? I think it's
That'd be me.
So what are you picking?
Well, I've been actually looking forward to watching this one again since we decided to be doing this one of Robin Williams comedy. We're going to be watching a film from 1996 starring Robin Williams, literally starring Robin Williams, and Nathan Lane in The Birdcage.
That's what I thought you were gonna do.
Hells yeah.
Which,
Good.
by the way, I actually like this movie.
You know what? Stop.
And I'll tell you why. It's not. It's not.
Where's our phone a friend? Let him put it in.
Because it's not like any Jim Carrey's comedies.
And we're also watching Heart of Gold on Firefly, episode 11.
Yep. We'll get it right this time. We'll get it right by the last episode.
Just whatever you do,
We only
just
have
don't
3
pay.
left.
I know. That's what I mean.
So whatever you do, just don't pay attention to IMDb, who generally just seems to bite you in the ass
They're
when it comes to
racist.
Firefly. So what you want to do is we're going according to Netflix.
Right.
You can argue in which way we should really do it, but we decided early on, do it the way according to Joss Whedon and Netflix.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we decided. Is Josh Whedon is right. Fox, you're dumb.
It helps he created it. So we're going by the dude who wrote everything. And so I gave the movie Robots, made in 2005, a 3 out of 5. James gave it a 3 out of 5. Ryan gave it a 2 out of 5. The old guy gave it a 2 out of 5. Next week is Firefly episode 11, Heart of Gold.
Yep.
And as always...
Birdcage.
Oh yeah, and next week's movie is Birdcage. And as always, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.